Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Donna, and for those of you not new, thank you so much for continuing to come back and support me. I appreciate you guys so very much. Today I'm talking about the Glam Metals palette by Crowne Pro. And if I have to be honest with you, I didn't find a whole lot of information online about this palette as far as the weight goes or anything like that. I did get this palette in a Boxy Charm. It's not, honestly, wasn't my favorite palette. I think I had used it maybe 2 or 3 times before using it, the 2 or 3 times that I used it over this last week. This is by Crowne brushes. I have never been a super big fan of any of the palettes that we've gotten from Crowne brushes. There's another palette called the Fuego palette that I just actually gave to my cousin. You guys will probably see that video later on this week. I just gave to my cousin because I only like one shade in the palette and I have all the colors in the palette over and over and over again. It reminded me of the Naked Heat palette to some extent, but not. So this is what this palette looks like. It is just cardboard packaging. It's like a white cardboard packaging with like silver letters and like confetti pieces on it. It's not a bad looking palette. The back of it does look like this. It has a nice like flying guitar on it, and the inside, when you open it up, has a nice mirror on it that is in the shape of the guitar. I do not feel like it is a usable mirror. It reminds me, I mean, it is a mirror, but because it is this cutout, this die cut of a guitar, it's not really super easy to use, which is whatever. It doesn't fold all the way back, so that's as far back as it goes. And this is what the palette looks like. So I did a review of this palette when I used it after we got it in Boxy Charm. And I will say that I wasn't super impressed with it. I did at that point in time say that it should have been like a 4-pan palette, because it really should have been like a 4-pan palette. This color is one of the darkest in the palette. This black actually comes out a lot more gray than it does black. Other than that, these two colors here look super similar to each other on the eye. On the eye, you actually can't tell the difference, but like swatching, one is a little more gray and one is a little more blue. This one's a little more gray, this one's a little more blue, but on the eye, they look the exact same. I'll go ahead and swatch them here for you guys so that you can see they just look the exact same. And then we have these two here, which actually, not those two. We have these two here, which actually look very similar as well. So one is a little more gray, I mean, not gray, one is a little more gold and one is a little more silver. But when you put them on your eye, they just look, you can't hardly tell the difference between the two of them. I know that you can on that swatch. It does appear that they are different, but once they're on your eye, you really can't tell the difference between them. These two colors here, one's a little more red, one's a little more orange, but again, on your eye, on any eye look, they don't really, unless you take great painstaking, you know, moves to make sure that they look different in your eye look, they don't really look different in your eye look. I'm going to scooch over because I'm going to put some pictures in here while I'm talking. I just feel like this video will go a lot faster. I didn't use it very much because I had a hard time with it, if we're being honest. So one day I used it and I kind of liked the eye look that I came up with, but I ended up using a lot of my singles with this because it just, it's just not a palette that I feel like you can use on its own. The only matte in this palette is the black, and the black comes out more of a gray. Today, I do have, my eye look consists of every, well, not every shade in this palette, but every shade in my eye look is from this palette, and I mean, I like it, but I don't really like it. I did use this color all over above into my crease and above the crease a little bit. I use this one on my lid, and then I use this one to deepen up the outer V. I just feel like it's super sparkly and maybe not as amazing as it could be. I do know that it works better with a primer than it does without. I got a good, 12 hours, maybe even 14 hours of use out of it when I did use a primer, and on the day that I did not use a primer because I was lazy and decided that I wasn't going to use a primer on that day, even though I knew I should have for this palette, and my makeup was gone within a few hours, except for the shadows, the single shadows that I use from the other company. So every single shadow in this palette is creamy-ish to the touch. They do have a little bit of like grippiness to them, but not much. They don't blend very well, but there isn't a whole lot of fallout with them either. There's not a lot of powder that finds its way onto your face in any capacity, and when you dip your brush into it and then tap your brush off, all the powder disappears off the brush. So you've kind of got to be really, really, really nice when using this palette and really take care to get enough on your brush that you don't have to tap it off. So not too much, right? Enough on your brush that you can lay pigment down on your eye, but not so much that you have to tap it off, because as soon as you tap it off, all of your color is gone. With that being said, I also had some trouble with this using it under my eye. I typically will take whatever color is in my outer V. I will typically take it down into underneath my eye so that I can kind of create a little bit of that smokiness and have some color on my under eye area as well. And this one liked to burn my eyes. I think that I don't do it well enough yet that I am not getting color in my eye, which is partially my fault. But one thing about this is that it really hurt my eyes when I did get it in my eyes. So I had to be really, really super careful with it when I was using it. With that being said, I will go ahead and swatch for you the other colors, the ones that I did not swatch. So I didn't swatch this one for you, or this black. So there is the like rusty like red color, which happens to be my favorite in this palette. And then the black for you, which, as I said, kind of looks a little more gray than it does black. And that shadow of all of them is, I feel like, the most grippy, which is weird because it's the only matte in the palette. I feel like the shimmers should be more grippy, and they're just not. Did we do this one? I think that we didn't. This one is the orange one that is on my lids today. It is also a really nice shade, and it is called Rebel. So that first one is called Wild Things. This one is called Black Metal, and this one is called Rebel. We also didn't do the Wicked, which is the darkest color besides the black in that palette. That is the color that I use to deepen up my crease. And then we have this one, which is called Glam Rock, and it is almost the same shade as the one right above it. So, like I said, this palette could have been a 4 or 5 pen palette, and you would have the same effect from it that you currently have from it. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and use my app to pull for my palette for next week. For those of you who are unaware, I do use an app on my phone. I have a Samsung Note 9, and I get my apps from the Play Store, from the Android system, and I use the app called Decide Now, and this is what it looks like. I just created a wheel and put all of the palettes that I own into this wheel, and then to spin for a new wheel, we just hit the button there and it spins. Alright, it has the Colored Rain Berry Cute palette, which is a new palette to me. You guys know that to be true if you watch my channel very much. I just did my Colored Rain unboxing for their mystery boxes, so let me go get that palette real quick. Alright, so this is next week's palette. It is the Colored Rain Berry Cute palette. This is what the packaging looks like, and you just take it out of its sleeve. And this is what the palette looks like. I'm actually kind of excited to use this. I've never tried Colored Rain before, and it was on my brands that intrigued me for this year, and I believe last year as well. So I'm actually kind of interested to try this palette. I love me some purples, so I'm okay with these for work purposes, and it'll be nice to move away from these crazy wonky colors, I guess, more neutral colors. This does have 3 mattes and 3 shimmers in it, which is nice. I feel like it's got a good mix of colors in it, which will be good to use next week. So, and it'll match my hair. So there's that. Alright, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, a little short and sweet palette roulette video. I just wasn't super impressed with that last palette, if you guys can't tell. I hope you enjoyed it enough, or me enough, that you're considering subscribing to my channel. And if you do, don't forget to hit that bell down there. I typically upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday or Sunday, depending on my work week, and typically it is at 9 a.m. every single one of those days. But as of late, we've been having some super big difficulties with technology, and sometimes my videos aren't coming out on time. So I hope that you hit the bell so that you're notified when I upload. Don't forget that I have a giveaway going on right now. I will go ahead and link that video at the end of this one so that you can go ahead and go watch it and get familiar with what's in the giveaway, as well as get yourself entered into the giveaway. We only have a couple more weeks left. And thank you guys so much for coming to join me today. I hope to see you in the comment section. And until next time, guys, bye.